Picture this: four best friends sitting on a worn-out couch in a basement. It's graduation day, and they're debating about their futures. Garina, the ambitious one, argues that money is the key to happiness. His friends, Lily, Marshall, and Ted, disagree. They believe friendship and experiences are more valuable than cash. Garina rolls his eyes. Freddie, hey, remember when we promised to always stay friends? The boys nod, but Garina's smile doesn't reach his eyes. He's already planning his next move. The others exchange worried glances. They can sense that their tight-knit group might be drifting apart. As the night wears on, the conversation keeps circling back to money. Garina insists it's the most important thing in life. The others disagree, but they can't seem to change his mind. Little do they know, this debate is just the beginning of a much bigger story. Months pass and the friends start to drift apart. Garina throws himself into his work. He takes internship after internship, always chasing the next big opportunity. His friends try to include him in their plans, but he's always too busy. Garina, sorry guys, I've got a meeting with some investors. At first, they make excuses for him. Freddie, he's just focused on his career. But as time goes on, it becomes clear that Garina's priorities have shifted. He misses birthdays, cancels plans at the last minute, and rarely returns calls. The group feels incomplete without him, like a puzzle missing its final piece. One day, Lily decides to confront him. She shows up at his apartment unannounced. Cashiera Garina, what's going on? We hardly see you anymore. Garina looks uncomfortable. He mumbles something about being busy and having important deals to close. Lily leaves, feeling more worried than ever. Ted and Marshall try to reach out too, but it's like talking to a brick wall. Garina's responses are short and distant. He's always rushing off to another meeting or conference call. The once inseparable group of friends is now divided. On one side, three friends struggling to understand what's happening. On the other, Garina, alone but convinced he's on the path to success. As years go by, Garina's relentless pursuit of wealth starts to pay off. He climbs the corporate ladder at breakneck speed. His name starts appearing in business magazines. The youngest CEO in the industry, the headlines scream. Garina soaks it all in, convinced that he's proving his old friends wrong. His company, Gold Rush Industries, grows at an unprecedented rate. Garina's face is plastered on billboards across the city. He buys a penthouse apartment, a fleet of luxury cars, and a private jet. From the outside, it looks like he has it all. But inside, there's a growing emptiness he can't quite explain. Garina's days are filled with meetings, deals, and acquisitions. He works 18-hour days, barely stopping to eat or sleep. His old friends try to reach out, but he ignores their calls. Garina, they just don't understand. They're jealous of my success. But late at night, when the office is empty, he sometimes wonders if he's made the right choices. As Gold Rush Industries expands, so does Garina's influence. He starts rubbing elbows with politicians and celebrities. His name becomes synonymous with success. But with each new achievement, the hole in his heart grows bigger. He has everything he ever wanted, but something still feels missing. Little does he know, his pursuit of wealth is about to lead him down a dark path. Garina's hunger for more wealth and power leads him to make some questionable decisions. He starts cutting corners, bending rules, and eventually breaking laws. It starts small, a bribe here, a falsified document there, but soon it spirals out of control. Gold Rush Industries becomes embroiled in scandal after scandal. At first, Garina manages to keep it all under wraps. He hires the best lawyers money can buy and silences whistleblowers with hefty payoffs. But rumors start to circulate. Investigative journalists begin digging into Gold Rush's practices. Garina becomes paranoid, seeing enemies around every corner. Despite the growing risks, Garina can't stop. He's addicted to the thrill of amassing more wealth and power. He starts making deals with shady characters, getting involved in money laundering and insider trading. His empire grows, but so does the web of lies and deceit holding it together. One day, Garina catches a glimpse of himself in a mirror. He barely recognizes the man staring back at him. His eyes are cold, his face lined with stress and worry. For a moment, he remembers the idealistic young man he once was, but then he pushes the thought away. Garina, this is what success looks like. But deep down, he knows he's crossed a line he can never uncross. Meanwhile, Lily, Marshall, and Ted have been watching Garina's rise with growing concern. They've seen the news reports, heard the rumors. They can't believe their old friend has changed so much. One night, over dinner, they decide they need to do something.
We can't just stand by and watch him destroy himself.
They start by trying to reach out to Garina directly. They send emails, leave voicemails, even try to visit his office. But Garina's walls are up. He sees their attempts at contact as threats.
They're trying to bring me down, block their numbers.
His paranoia grows stronger by the day. Frustrated by Garina's rejection, the friends decide to take more drastic action. Ted, now a journalist, starts investigating Gold Rush Industries. Marshall, a lawyer, begins looking into the legal aspects of Garina's dealings. Lily, a teacher, starts educating people about corporate greed and its effects on society. As they dig deeper, they uncover more than they bargained for. The extent of Garina's corruption is staggering. They realize that stopping him won't be easy. It might even be dangerous. But they're determined to save their friend from himself, even if he sees them as enemies now. Little do they know their actions are about to set in motion a chain of events that will change everything. Word of Garina's corruption spreads like wildfire. Ted's articles expose the dark underbelly of Gold Rush Industries. Marshall finds legal loopholes that could bring the company down. Lily's grassroots movement gains traction, with more people joining the fight against corporate greed every day. Garina, feeling the pressure, becomes more ruthless. He hires private investigators to dig up dirt on his old friends. He uses his influence to try and silence Ted's newspaper. He even attempts to get Marshall disbarred. But the friends stand strong, their bond unbreakable in the face of adversity. As the resistance grows, so does public outrage. People start boycotting Gold Rush products. Investors begin pulling out. Garina's empire, built on sand, starts to crumble. But instead of backing down, he doubles down. He throws money at the problem, trying to buy his way out of trouble. The situation reaches a boiling point. Protests erupt outside Gold Rush headquarters. The media circus is in full swing. Garina barricades himself in his penthouse, surrounded by lawyers and PR teams. He's fighting a losing battle, but he's too blinded by greed to see it. As the walls close in, something extraordinary is about to happen, something that will shake Garina to his very core. Just when it seems like things can't get any more intense, something incredible happens. In the midst of a particularly heated protest, the sky suddenly darkens. A brilliant golden light appears, and from it emerges a figure of otherworldly beauty. It's Julriken, the mythical god of wealth and generosity. Julriken's presence silences the crowd. Even Garina, watching from his penthouse window, is struck speechless. The deity's voice, like the chiming of golden bells, echoes across the city.
Garina, your actions have upset the balance of the world. It's time for you to face the golden truth.
With a wave of Julriken's hand, Garina finds himself transported to a realm of pure gold. Everything shimmers and gleams. But as beautiful as it is, it feels cold and lifeless.
This is the world you've created for yourself. A world where wealth is everything, but it has no real value.
Garina, for the first time in years, feels small and insignificant. He tries to speak to defend himself, but no words come out. Julriken's piercing gaze sees right through him.
You have forgotten the true purpose of wealth. It is not meant to be hoarded, but shared. Only then does it bring joy.
With those words, Julriken begins to show Garina visions that will change his life forever. Julriken waves a hand, and suddenly Garina is watching scenes from his own life. He sees himself as a child, sharing his lunch with a friend who forgot theirs. He feels the warmth of that moment, the joy of giving. Then he sees himself in high school, surrounded by friends, laughing and dreaming about the future. The scenes shift to his rise in the business world.
I remember that. I was so happy then.
Garina watches himself grow colder, more isolated. He sees the hurt in his friends' eyes as he pushes them away. He witnesses his own descent into corruption, feels the emptiness that came with each so-called success. For the first time, he truly sees what he's become.
This is your life, Garina. See how your pursuit of wealth has left you alone and unfulfilled.
Garina wants to look away, but he can't. He's forced to confront the truth of his actions, the pain he's caused, the relationships he's destroyed, all in the name of greed. But Julriken isn't finished. The deity shows Garina visions of what could have been, a life filled with friendship, love, and true happiness, a successful career built on integrity and generosity. Garina sees himself making a positive difference in the world, using his wealth to help others. The contrast with his current reality is stark and heartbreaking. As the visions fade, Garina falls to his knees, overwhelmed by regret and shame.
What have I done?
Garina finds himself back in the real world, standing on the roof of his skyscraper. The protests continue below, but now he sees them with new eyes. He realizes that these people aren't his enemies. They're fighting for what's right, just like his old friends have been doing all along. For the first time in years, Garina feels the weight of his actions. The corruption, the lies, the people he's hurt. It all comes crashing down on him. He falls to his knees, tears streaming down his face.
What have I done?
The empire he built suddenly seems meaningless. In this moment of vulnerability, Garina hears a voice. It's Lily calling out to him from the crowd below.
Garina, please, it's not too late.
He looks down and sees his old friends, Lily, Marshall, and Ted, standing together, reaching out to him. Despite everything he's done, they're still there, still trying to save him. Garina makes a decision. He stands up, walks to the edge of the roof, and raises his hands. The crowd falls silent, waiting.
I'm sorry, I was wrong about everything.
It's a small step, but it's the beginning of something much bigger. Garina knows the road ahead will be difficult, but for the first time in years, he feels a glimmer of hope. The next few months are the hardest of Garina's life. He cooperates fully with the authorities, confessing to all his crimes. He watches as Gold Rush Industries is dismantled, piece by piece. His fortune is seized, his reputation in tatters. But strangely, he feels lighter than he has in years. Garina's old friends stand by him through it all. They visit him in jail, help him prepare for his trial, and offer support when the media frenzy becomes too much. Their forgiveness and loyalty humble him. He realizes that this, not money or power, is true wealth.
We're here for you, Garina, always.
As part of his plea deal, Garina agrees to use what's left of his fortune to make amends. He sets up a foundation to fight corporate corruption and promote ethical business practices. He speaks at schools and universities, warning young people about the dangers of unchecked greed. Slowly but surely, he begins to rebuild his life on a foundation of integrity and generosity. The road to redemption is long and difficult. There are days when Garina wants to give up, when the weight of his past threatens to crush him. But every time he falters, his friends are there to pick him up.
You're doing the right thing, Garina. Keep going.
And with each act of kindness, each moment of genuine connection, he feels a little more whole. He's learning, finally, that true fulfillment comes not from what you have, but from what you give.
You know, I finally understand what you guys were trying to tell me all those years ago. Years pass, and Garina's life is transformed. He's no longer the wealthy CEO, but he's rich in ways he never imagined possible. He spends his days working at the foundation, helping others and making a real difference in the world. His friendships, once neglected, are now the center of his life. One day, Garina finds himself back in that high school basement with Lily, Marshall, and Ted. They're older now, with gray in their hair and laugh lines around their eyes. But as they reminisce about old times, it's like no time has passed at all. Garina looks at his friends and feels a wave of gratitude wash over him. Money isn't everything, it's not even the most important thing. What matters is the connections we make, the lives we touch, the good we do in the world. The others smile, waiting for him to continue.
As the night wears on, Garina reflects on his journey. He thinks about the young man he once was, so consumed by greed. He thinks about Jewel Rican and the golden truth. He looks at his friends, at the life he now leads, and he knows, this is true wealth. This is happiness, and he wouldn't trade it for all the gold in the world. The legend of the golden truth lives on, a powerful reminder that generosity, not greed, is the path to true fulfillment.